Impact on Your Health is sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, M.D., Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road in McWillie, Pennsylvania. For more information or to make an appointment, call 724-942-3002. That's 724-942-3002 for Dennis J. Courtney, M.D.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to AM Impact on Your Health. AM Impact on Your Health, for every day our goal is to have you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. AM Impact on Your Health, well, it's heard each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney, and I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. AM Impact on Your Health, for each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, fascinating health topics, and of course, where we do encourage you to call in to join in. Today, hey, we got a string of these going now. We're going to open them up for you today. I got a number of things on my plate I'd like to share with you, some of them extremely important. Well, you may have something important to share with us too, commenting on something that I bring up or just bringing in a topic that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, and that's okay with me too. The number to do that, as always, will be 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. We open them up for you today in another back-to-back fashion with respect to open phones. Now, calendar-wise, here it comes, folks. Friday, I will use this as a get 'em up out of town pre-Super Bowl show, and so we will have had 3 shows back-to-back where we've let you participate. But I got a blurb for you all. So much interest was generated around, I don't know, we're going to call him the Algae Man, talking about the guest who was with us last month, which is literally a week ago, talking about bioengineered, not genetically modified. I think there was a little bit of confusion there. This is bioengineered algae, following the work of a doctor, what's his name now? A Russian doctor, which Dr. Kiriak, I think his name is, and I will make certain about that before I resume our new show with Roland. I contacted Roland yesterday. You've been talking about him. You've been calling up and making, some of you have actually gotten the book, which I certainly do want to support. The book is something that we got on his website. I'm going through trying to find the little etchings I made whenever I wrote this down initially. Anyway, Roland Thomas coming back with us on Monday the 7th. When I spoke to him yesterday, he was smiling a bit, I think, because he knew doggone well that a 45-minute show really would only get the juices flowing, and it would not be satiety that was created from that 45 minutes. Oh, no. Not my listeners. They need more. We're going to go get more from Roland. Also talk to him, and I hope to have available, and things are going to have to move pretty fast, the actual product here so that we can be able to dispense it. I think I owe you that, ladies and gentlemen. So Roland Thomas comes back with us on Monday to talk about bioengineered algae. Now, on the 9th, the Wednesday show, we're talking about, and I am excited about it, Dr. Susan Smith-Jones will come to our show talking about issues of libido and natural remedies to improve it. She does this by virtue of the fact that she wants to give you all a Valentine's Day present, and so a little premature there. 9th, Valentine's Day 14th, make it work. She will absolutely be bringing you some interesting discussions with respect to libido issues. Then on the 11th, Jerry Singleton will be here. Now, that's his second time here. Literally, and I want to talk about that in a moment, we have a dry run occurring in the office tomorrow of his piece of equipment, this earth-shattering piece of equipment that I'm going to talk to you about today, called the MCG. The MCG stands for multi-factored cardiogram. Multifunctional cardiogram. And although they seem like innocent letters, This is one heck of a space-age device. I've talked about it in brief. I'll get a little more specific about it today. Anyway, Jerry Singleton, who represents the company that actually markets the device in our area, we're the first to have it, folks. He'll be in the office doing a dry run on all of my in-office patients. And, of course, we're telling you that on the 24th, you who listen to the show, if you think you'd like to get a study done, completely non-invasive, you lie on a table, you have leads hooked up to the ankles, wrists, and one on the chest. 7 minutes later, the test is over, and in fact, you get the very similar information as you would have gotten had you had a full-blown cardiac catheterization. So it's a cath without having a cath. And how many people out there said, well, geez, I would like to know, but I'm not having a cath. I'm not going to have one of those things. Those things are dangerous, and they certainly are. And although they are done frequently, nonetheless, to be able to get similar information that correlates extremely well with the cath that would and could be done, you don't want to miss your opportunity to get MCG. None, we'll have it in the office. You can call up here, and the agenda, the schedule is now at the desk, at Kim's desk. If you give us a call and find out what time of the day you're open, we'll probably have a slot for you. We only need 15 minutes of your time in order to get this done. It's covered by all insurances, and we'll get into the issue about the nitty-gritty of the company and how it was the machinery, the electronic wizardry was devised, and how we come to the point where we actually have a device that can show up in a doctor's office. I say that we're the first. I think that this is going to be a device that permeates all medical offices, and that includes cardiologists and primary care physicians alike. 5 years from now, it would be my guess that this will be easily found. Today, it's just not found. We've got it here for you. MCG will be talking about that with Jerry Singleton on the 11th. On the 16th, Doug Inglesby comes back to the show. He and his family, well known in the supplement industry, going to be talking about the flavor makers, and I think it's a play on words with respect to the pharmaceutical industry, trying to bring in a tasty drug to even make them more alluring, as if they weren't already, and mask the potential harm just because something tastes so good. I don't think so. Doug Inglesby, our guest on the 16th. Then, in a back-to-back fashion, Jerry Singleton returns on the 18th. He's doing 2 Friday shows with us to get you all ready, to get you completely aware. I want my listeners to be educated on this matter, as you really are extremely intelligent when it comes to these medical issues. You've been listening. You're taking notes out there feverishly. I'm proud to be able to bring you information that you can't get anyplace else. I'm also proud to bring you a study that you can't get anyplace else. MCG with Jerry Singleton on the 11th and then on the 18th. Then in the following week, it's like diabetic week around here. Alan Ridgway, who's been associated with me in my office for over a year now, is that we call him the diabetic man because he is the one that fits our diabetic patients with these custom-made, orthopedically designed shoes. They're quite stylish, and they're quite expensive. However, if you are a diabetic, insurance does pay for them. So I encourage you to listen to the show on the 21st. We'll be talking about those shoes once again, but other items that pertain to the diabetic world, the diabetic patient, nifty little glucometers, other ways, the Lancets, other devices that are brand new, coming off the assembly line, another foray into electronic wizardry that's available, and just keeps marching on. Then on the 23rd, the very next show, Kurt Tomkowski comes on board talking about dressings. RTD dressings are the trade name of the dressings used in the diabetic. Now, they don't have to be exclusively used in the diabetic, but the diabetic does have peripheral vascular disease to the extent that they have diminished and diminishing blood flow to the extremities, feet, hands. They are very predisposed to getting a wound that just doesn't heal, but that moves on to gangrenous conditions and ultimately can and oftentimes, unfortunately, it does wind up in becoming an amputation. So diabetics absolutely know that they have to take care, even in getting their nails clipped. It's a major undertaking when it comes to diabetics. Anyway, RTD dressings, literally, as described to me in a very brief sense, are like a dressing that just soaks up the bacteria into the dressing, allowing it to be discarded. More about that on the 23rd. And then on the 24th, those of you listening to me, I'm talking so much about MCG and the electronic device that we're going to have here. That's the day that you can take me up on my offer. Anybody out there who thinks they might like to learn a bit about their cardiovascular status without any invasiveness whatsoever, that correlates well with people who have had the same pathology and have had calves without having a calf, well, give us a call. We'll put you in a slot on the 24th. 15 minutes is all you'll need to be here for. The test is actually only 7 and out. And by the time the 24th rolls around, you should know quite a bit about it. Okay. I should mention and I think I mentioned already, the minerals, the ionic trace minerals are now in. We've done a couple of shows now with Darren Starkey talking about this product. It's unbelievable. I ask you now, as I have many times up till now, saying, have you been able to see the light? And by seeing the light, I mean watching that video where I think the visual effect is so powerful, and putting 1 drop of ionic trace minerals in a solution that doesn't carry any electrical charge very well. 1 drop of this ionic trace mineral, and you will never forget what you see. I can remember a company not too long ago called Shackley, and their biggest sales pitch, and it was powerful, was a visual effect of them saying to you, get me a glass of water and bring me your vitamins. And so give me 2 glasses of water and then bring me your vitamins. And so what they would do was in 1 glass of water, they would put all of your vitamins, and in the other glass of water, they would put in the Shackley vitamins, and literally you saw the Shackley vitamin dissolve in front of your very eyes while you're watching in a matter of, I don't know, 15 seconds, 20 seconds. You all remember? Have you seen that visual? It carries with you. It gets carried with you for a long time if you can remember the Shackley company. And they're still out there, by the way. They still have a full product line, and I'm pretty sure they're probably still doing that same thing. By the way, the glass of water that you put your vitamins in, lay on the bottom like a bunch of rocks, okay? Like a bunch of rocks. And you just give up watching and waiting for it to dissolve. So clear a distinction is made between the assimilability and dissolvability of a Shackley product versus anything else that you can bring out of the closet. You got to say, my goodness gracious, I can't take that stuff anymore, and Shackley wins. Well, that's the strong visual there. I say, take a look, see the light. You can either go to the website at traceminerals.com, opening page, right-hand side. There's a little icon marked videos. Click on it, and there are about 3 or 4 pertinent videos, each of which have a powerful visual message to take to you. And then we also, with our product, got a bunch of the DVDs in here. If you want one, give us a call. We'll send you one out. Come on in and pick one up. If you don't want one, if you don't have a computer and you don't have the ability to get on the internet, I'll put a disc in my computer and let you see. It takes about 5 minutes, maybe 10, and you'll get the visual effect that I think that you will enjoy and never forget. And so we'll let it go at that. Now, let's take a short break. When we return, gotta discuss something. It's an alert, a vitamin C alert. I've been the vitamin C guy for so many years now. I got to bring to you a hitch. There is a problem out there, folks, and I'll make you aware of what that is when we return. The vitamin C advisory will be made as soon as we return. Bye.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. Have you become confused about how best to manage your health? It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instructions, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, M.D. is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Have you been to the doctor lately? Was fatigue top of your complaint list? Even if your doctor asks you what you eat, the recommended 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day is a dream in your busy schedule. What if you learned of a product 5 years in the formulation that delivers 5 servings of fruits and minerals in just 1 ounce? That's right, it's Through the Spirit. The blessings of Through the Spirit are now formulated into a delicious whole fruit puree product rich in antioxidants and minerals. Your health is more than just a test result. It's a balance of physical, spiritual, and emotional factors. You work regularly to strengthen your faith, but Through the Spirit help cover your nutritional needs in a convenient and cost-effective ounce a day. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Through the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. Through the Spirit, 5 servings of fruits and minerals with no added sugars. That's 1-800-442-3793 for your good health. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on Your Health here on this Wednesday version of the show. We have opened it up for you today. If you got a mind to, give us a call at 412-825-6262. They just, well, get it off your chest. Pressure builds up, and it ruins your day unless you have a way to vent. Get it out. Get rid of it. We're all interested in what you have to say, whether you want to ask a question. Believe you me, if I don't know the answers, my listeners usually do. And I certainly enjoy having that interplay between you, who have a question, and my listeners who have many, many answers. 412-825-6262. Now, we do have a knock on the door. Come on the store. Hello, and welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Dr. Courtney.
Hi.
Hi. I know you had mentioned that you're going to be bringing that Roland back.
Yes, on Monday.
Okay. But I was wondering also, because I tuned in late that day, the 17th.
Okay.
I missed part of it. Do you think maybe sometime you could actually repeat that first one?
I will promise you that I'll repeat it at the very next turn. I've got so many things scheduled now that I don't know when that will be. I promise that I will do it. Of course, too, with a computer, that show is just a couple of clicks away. It's on the archives, so you can listen to it immediately.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, go right to the archives, and you can click on the 17th of January. Is that what it was, by the way? You are right, yeah, 17th of January. Yeah, go to the opening page of the website, DennisJCourtney.com, click on archives, and you can listen to it right now, or you want to listen to it on like over the weekend and be ready for rolling in part 2. But I think it's a fascinating topic. I remember you calling about it. Others who are frequent callers of this show also had a peak interest. One show just wasn't going to do it. I'm happy to bring them back.
Yeah, because I don't quite understand all the difference between the like wheatgrass, kelp, spirulina. I don't understand all the differences between that. Maybe he can kind of...
Well, we'll have to get into it. I mean, I think the point that I was left with was that there are thousands of species of algae, but there are 4 species of algae. It has nothing to do with wheatgrass and barley green and all those things, which we've certainly been made aware of that have a health potential to them. But supposedly these 4 algae that are found and cultured and bioengineered from a source in Siberia appear to have qualities that are amazing. And we'll get into that. I know you'll be listening on Monday. And pick up that show, because I'd like you to have that some continuity. Listen to the old show. I promise to ask the questions that you're feeding me right now with respect to the macronutrients found in barley grain and others. Okay?
Okay, and can I go over some T3 lab results with you?
Oh, quickly, fire them away. Let's see what you got on your mind.
What do you want first?
Well, first there are 6 labs that are important to me. T3, T4, and TSH are the 3 that are always obtained by every doctor that's sort of off the rack, which are T3, T4, and your TSH.
Yeah, the TSH is very low. This is the lowest it's ever been, I believe. It's 0.73.
Okay, that is low. And so do you take a thyroid preparation at all?
Yeah, the
Okay.
Armor.
You take Armor? Well, what it is shutting down the axis. When the TSH is produced by the pituitary gland, and the TSH stands for thyroid stimulating hormone, and there's a negative feedback loop that occurs from your bloodstream to the pituitary that when the level of T3 and T4 rises, it turns off the pituitary gland from secreting TSH. So it's actually a good thing, not a bad thing, that your TSH is low. How about your T3 and your T4?
Oh, okay. I thought the TSH should be between 2 and 4.
Oh, well, actually it usually is because they take and come up with a standard based on thousands of people who get that test. But one thing for sure, a person who's taking exogenous thyroid hormone and having that kind of an effect, that's a good, to me,
Oh, okay.
that's a very good response. I would just say, as long as your symptoms are being dealt with so that they have diminished or diminishing or will diminish, as long as that's happening, then thyroid hormone is working well for you. I just find that, especially with Synthroid, which is the #1 drug used by my colleagues, those who occasionally even venture into the Armor/Nature's Thyroid look for the blood work to swing, because it will swing, and yours has swung, and think all is Valhalla, all is heaven, when in fact, if the symptoms don't go away with the swing, then you are left out in the cold thinking that everything's all right, when it in fact is not. Okay?
And real quick, the free T4 was 1?
Okay, I would ask you the other 3 labs that I'm interested in is not that one. I would say the 3 other ones are the 2 antibodies, which are #1, perioxidase antibodies. Do you ever have that done?
Maybe under Amy, but I don't remember.
Okay, well, the 3 other lab tests that aren't off the rack, that aren't done too frequently, that do reveal how precarious the treatment of this will be are the 2 antibodies, one called perioxidase antibodies. So out there, those of you who are writing this down and going to your doctor, make sure you ask for them. And #2, anti-thyroid antibodies. And then #3, a new test, a test that's only been available for maybe 5 or 6 years now, called reverse T3. These
that was
3.
22.
Okay, and so that's extremely low, which means that you don't have a problem. Look at T3 as like a gas pedal, and reverse T3 as though it's a set of brakes. People who have an elevated reverse T3, and you do not, but I come across this all the time, are going to need some whopping doses of thyroid hormone to overcome their brakes. And we'll just let that explanation go at that. If people out there have thyroid issues, if they're on thyroid hormone, I want to tell you, I'd have to say that I deal with thyroid issues more than any other issue in my office, especially with the female patients that I have, than I ever had before, and they need it because everybody's ill. Everybody's ill in Western Pennsylvania when it comes to thyroid disease. Thank you for the call.
So you're saying 22 is decent?
22 says you do not have a reverse T3 problem. You do not have a set of brakes that are putting a harness around your thyroid hormone. Your thyroid hormone won't require, the amount of thyroid hormone replacement you need won't be impeded at all by your reverse T3. If somebody had a, by the way, you can see the elevation in T3 goes up to 350. Do you see that? You see the normal range? Up to 350?
Yeah, see, it doesn't have a reference range.
All right, well, the reference range is up to 350. So you're so far away from even having to worry about the reverse T3 as an issue for you, it's just wasted air. You don't have the problem. Other people do, and it is extremely significant for them. In your case, it's not a fact. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for the question. Very good question. And Yes, folks, go to the Roland Thomas interview of January 17th, which the listener just mentioned, if you want to get some continuity. If you missed the show, we always try to start out fresh with each guest, even when they come back, to try to reiterate what it was that the first message they brought us was. I don't know how successful it is. We try. And if you want to do the best job possible for understanding the Monday show, go ahead and listen to the January 17th show. You want to go with that. Hey, by the way, I should mention, today is Groundhog Day. Punxsutawney Phil emerged. I can tell you, for those that didn't actually observe the events surrounding his emergence from the gobbler's knob, he did not see his shadow. There will not be 6 weeks additional winter. Spring, according to Punxsutawney at least, is just around the corner. All right, let's get to this vitamin C issue. I have felt for a long time now that, on the vitamin C front, I've been the rebel rouser. I caused all the problems because everything was nice and neat back in the day when nobody was making a fuss about vitamin C. I have made more than a fuss about it. And in so doing, I've created my listeners to be super intelligent in the issue of vitamin D. You all know now that corn-derived, which 99.9% of all vitamin C is derived from corn. And 100% of all corn is genetically modified. So consequently, you can't get, in 99.9% of the cases, a vitamin C that has virtually any biological bang to it if it came from corn. Now, I've mentioned by my fellow radio hosts that when discussing the issue of genetically modified, and especially I hear them talk about Monsanto, and they absolutely cast aspersions to the company. How dare they genetically modify and ruin our food? And in the same breath, I hear them trying to hawk or sell their vitamin C, which is coming from corn. How they do that, I don't know. Let's talk about, however, a recent controversy that came up, not with oral vitamin C, but there is a giant problem out there, folks. For those of you who go to offices and get IV vitamin C, I got some information to give you. You just have to know. I'll give it to you in just a moment. There is an advisory out there with respect to IV vitamin C. I'll bring to you in just a moment. First, we have a caller knocking on the door. Come on in the store. Hello, and welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
Hello, Dr. Courtney.
Hi.
I was wondering about trace minerals. I heard somewhere, I think on your show, that you don't need to take all the vitamins that a lot of us would take if you take the trace minerals. Is that true?
Well, I think you got two different things here. Well, you mentioned two different things. Vitamins are one thing, and you certainly need to supplement them because you can't get from your foods anywhere near the nutrients, the vitamins that you need and require every single day. So supplementing the vitamins is absolutely something you should not change. You must pick a good multi and then go with it. But I think what's the message with the minerals that we have made is this, that even though your multi might contain some minerals, they contain the macro minerals in some cases, and those macro minerals are things like calcium, magnesium, manganese is another one. Big molecule things that you require in large quantities. Calcium is another one. But there are some 80 plus trace minerals that are not there. We say now, and I think we have to thank Dr. Darren Starkey, that in a good supplemental regime, you need to pick your vitamins as you have already done, finding the best source possible, but you really do need to have a special and separate ionic mineral to take along with it to make everything else in the system work well. We carry, I believe, after these two shows with Dr. Darren Starkey, the line that he's affiliated with called Trace Mineral Research. These trace minerals come from the Great Salt Lake. They are just phenomenal in their ability to allow enzyme systems to work, energy to flow through the blood as it should, pH control and total dissolved solute is off the map when it comes to this. So for these 3 or 4 reasons, you need to supplement, especially now with an ionic form of trace minerals. There aren't many out there. There are not many out there. I'm just saying that a very good representative would be, and we do carry the trace mineral line. 2 kinds, a liquid form that you'd start out taking 10 drops once a day and work yourself up to spread out 40 drops if you want the liquid. Sort of a no fuss, no muss way is using the tablet, which 3 tablets a day is equivalent to the 40 drops. So that's my story on the minerals. Any question there?
No. Thank you.
Thanks for the question. Happy to provide you with the answer.
Okay.
Okay. There you go. You just have to. You cannot expect your multi to carry the load, the double load. It may bring you, it may be an excellent source of vitamins, and of course, I want you all out there looking for the best source possible, but you just don't get in that same supplement a valuable enough form of trace minerals. It's just not available. It has to be supplemented separately. Okay, the vitamin C advisory. I think it's safe to say that all forms of oral vitamin C are not affected by what I'm about to read to you, or at least comment on. But if you are getting any IV vitamin C done, and I know that plenty of my listeners are aware of the health benefits of getting IV vitamin C, then you absolutely must pay attention here for the next minute or so. I'm holding in my hand a letter from the McGuff Company. This is dated January 7, 2010. And every one of the doctors out there that does IV vitamin C, I am sure got a copy of this letter. The reason why I'm sure is that McGuff, the name of the company, is the only manufacturer of IV vitamin C, of non-corn derived vitamin C in the entire country. There is no other manufacturer of IV vitamin C other than McGuff. And what happened is that on December 29th, 2010, the FDA shut down the McGuff Company's ability to continue to manufacture any other non-corn derived vitamin C. By the way, not just the non-corn derived, they're not allowed to manufacture even the corn derived, which, by the way, they did. They had both products. And I need to bring that to your attention because you, as a consumer, who might very well be getting IV vitamin C from any of the practitioners in the area, need to keep everybody honest here. You request to see the bottle that's being used in mixing up your IV bag. If it's still a McGuff bottle, that means that they, meaning your doctor, had a supply of the IV vitamin C, and that as long as the supply holds, whether he got quite a quantity of it or not, up until the time he uses his last one, he's still providing you with the non-corn derived form of vitamin C, which makes the IV that you're receiving absolutely a biological plus for you. If, in fact, he has run out of his supply of McGuff manufactured vitamin C, there's a problem out there, folks, because there are no other manufacturers to pick up the slack. Right now, doctors across the country, coast to coast, there are hundreds of us searching for additional non-corn derived sources, but what we're left with is that we cannot find a manufacturer. The only one that there was McGuff, but we can find compounders that are able to compound a very legitimate form of IV vitamin C, as good, if not better, than their original McGuff product anyway. Here's the difference, however. When McGuff was putting out its IV non-corn derived vitamin C in its manufactured form in their plant, they were stamping out around 10,000 bottles a day. I mean, they were really on a mass production line because it was a manufacturing line, but they were on such a smooth running operation that they could make 10,000 bottles a day. By the way, why the FDA shut these folks down with this is a little nebulous to me. I'm hearing that there were safety concerns, as opposed to what I originally thought about, well, you know what, this sounds like the FDA being onerous again, something that works and they want to try to get rid of it. I actually probably don't think that is the case. There were safety concerns lodged with the manufacturing that were corrected, and the FDA, I think it's safe to say, had to shut McGuff down. But I'll tell you this, you don't mess with the FDA. If they had come in, and supposedly they came in June to inspect the plant, and there were safety issues, and you are dumb enough not to correct them, then you deserve to be shut down. But that does leave a whole host of practitioners out there in the entire country without a source of vitamin C. I will tell you that there are isolated, and I do mean isolated, pockets of compounding pharmacists that were able to locate a source of non-corn derived. There are two main sources that were able to be tapped into. Number one source was a beet derived, and the number two, which is what McGuff was using anyway, was tapioca derived, and I didn't even know, I thought tapioca was a pudding. Evidently, it's a real live vegetable source, but because it's not genetically modified in any way, these are the two remaining sources that some compounding pharmacists were able to get a hold of. When you go to your practitioners, you ask to see the bottle that they're using to mix up that IV bag, to be certain that you aren't going to get snookered here. If it's a McGuff bottle and it'll say non-corn derived right on the front of it, you're fine, you're okay. But if in fact the McGuff they have run out of their McGuff product, they better be able to produce a compounded form. And here are the checklists that you need to be able to run through in order to know that you have a legitimate source. Number one, the compounded form of this vitamin C will be in a clear IV bottle, not an amber IV bottle. That's number one. Number two, the bottle, because it is a vacuum bottle, will be larger than the manufactured size that McGuff made. Even though there's the same amount of product inside the bottle, the vacuum bottle works by piercing it with a needle, and literally the bottle sucks in the 50 milliliters of the product into the bottle itself, and it's never allowed to get to the point where the bottle would have to be completely filled. So the bottles are clear, the bottles are large, the product that you probably never saw before because the amber bottles didn't allow for it, is that the vitamin C, slightly oxidizable as it is, has sort of like a yellow cast to it. Now the fourth piece of this that has to be present is when you compound anything, and the pharmaceutical world knows the rules for compounding, it must have a patient name on that bottle. It may not be feasible to have your name on the bottle, but somebody's name better be on that bottle, or it does not qualify as being a compounded product. I think that it's going to be rough for the compounders who don't make 10,000 bottles a day. They make 100 bottles a day. These are mom and pop operations. You have to have a relationship with them in order for them to even deal with you. And the demand out there is so large that these small pockets of compounding pharmacists cannot meet the demand. And so you, in questioning your doctors, so as to keep it all honest now, know how to determine whether or not the McGuff issue has presented a problem that they cannot resolve, meaning your doctors, or that they have resolved, and by describing to you what the actual IV product should look like, makes my listeners now the most knowledgeable that anybody could ever be on this subject, and I'm very happy to be able to do it. After all, I'm the one that started this crazy stuff with non-corn derived many years ago. I enjoy having that reputation. I do not mind the criticisms leveled against me because science has borne me out to be accurate, and that's all I can ever ask of myself is to be scientifically accurate. And so, McGuff, I have no idea when this company is going to pass muster with the FDA. But I got this feeling that now that the FDA is in charge and they're in control and they've got McGuff under their thumb, it's going to be quite some time before McGuff is ever up in manufacturing this stuff again. And when they are, I'll let you know that too. So, that's the story about the vitamin C, IV vitamin C. I don't believe that any of the sources of the oral forms of non-corn derived vitamin C have been dealt with in any way at all, because those are smaller stashes of the non-corn derived that were far away and outside of the McGuff Corporation. These manufacturers, like, I'll mention a couple, Takimoto, Bioimmune product called Ultra Absorbic C, what's the name, Russ Jaffe's group, it's eluding me right now, the name of the product that he makes, the line that he makes. Ecological Formulas is another company that makes a non-corn derived form of vitamin C. I've mentioned them often, and the list does go on, so you'll see that the product probably has not been changed at all. They're still going to be able to talk about using a non-corn derived, but the IV form, that's an issue completely different. And there you have it. Okay, let's take a short break. When we return, let's talk a little bit about this MCG. Yes, that's what it's called, multifunctional cardiogram. We kick it off tomorrow with a group of my private patients that I've been seeing for quite some time. And I will report back to you on Friday how it goes. But a little bit about the MCG unit. You want to get involved with this, folks, the 24th. It's open to you, the general public. Tomorrow's the dry run. Be back in a moment to talk about MCG.
Help your family eat healthier? Instead of learning to disguise tofu in wondrous ways, how about some real nutritional power? If your family has the typical American palate for fries, pizza, and chips, giving your family the blessing of good nutrition is a struggle. Fruit of the Spirit is the answer for your family's nutritional needs. Fruit of the Spirit is an all-natural whole fruit puree made from fresh fruits native to the Holy Land with alkalizing minerals. Fruit of the Spirit was 5 years in the formulation, the work of a team of top nutritional experts with independent science to confirm its antioxidant power. 1 ounce a day provides the equivalent of 5 servings of fruits and minerals. Fruit of the Spirit is convenient, affordable, and delicious. Even your picky family will sing the praises of Fruit of the Spirit. Give your loved ones the blessing of good nutrition. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. That's 1-800-442-3793. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. You become confused about how best to manage your health. It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instructions, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again, excuse me, to AM Impact on Your Health. Heard here on KHB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm with you on this Wednesday version of the show. I want to mention, having just left this topic of the vitamin C advisory, we have tapped in, we meaning here at my office, have tapped in to one of those isolated sources of non-corn derived vitamin C. Yes, the compounder has to make these according to Hoyle. I mean, there are real strict rules here, but the source we have is a beet-derived source, and you can check me out. Ask me to see the bottle, just like I told you to check on anybody else that might be using vitamin C, ask to see the bottle. It'll meet the test of 4 that I mentioned a moment ago. Our supply will continue uninterrupted. We're just really lucky, that's all I got to say. Hey, a knock on the door. Come on the store. Hello and welcome aboard. What is on your mind?
Dr. Courtney, I don't know if I understood you correctly. Would like standard process vitamin C, would that still be okay?
Oh, I said all oral forms of the vitamin C, whether they're corn-derived or non-corn-derived, and I think we found out that standard process is a non-corn-derived product. Remember when we had the guy on our show? So I believe all the oral forms are not affected by this advisory. I'm only talking about people who get IV vitamin C. Now, in that regard, there has been a tremendous fly put in the ointment here. It will make it impossible to be able to deliver a form of vitamin C intravenously that has any biological bang to it unless it comes from real small mom-and-pop size compounding pharmacists that doctors have a relationship with. You can check them out just by asking to see their IV bottle. If you're taking standard process supplements and they have a form of vitamin C, it will be unaffected. Okay? Oh, did you leave me? Are you there? All right, I hope that answered your question. No, don't worry about the oral forms of vitamin C, just the IV. But plenty of you out there do IV vitamin C, so I need for you to be able to protect yourself. I assume your doctors are reputable. I wouldn't have it any other way, but there needs to be a check. Okay, there just needs to be a check. And now that I've, once again, pulled the curtain back and allowed you to see a piece of medicine that normally isn't something that you get a chance to see, you are the more powerful consumer because of it. Now, talking about MCG, yes, tomorrow we have, I think, somewhere around 20 to 25 patients tomorrow that are my private stash. What I mean by this, all the people on ECP, all the people who are getting IVs in my office anyway, they're already here. Well, it was just a perfect thing for me to sign them up to get this 7-minute, well, total 15-minute test done. 7 minutes of actual test, 15 by the time you get hooked up and they get some additional information and your demographics from you. Then they push the button on the computer goes, 7 minutes, the test is over. You're lying on a table. You don't have any, you're fully clothed. The only thing that you have done is removed your shoes and socks. Now, let me describe for you, I was going through the literature last night. I think there's 4 different steps or 4 different pieces to this that I'll mention to you today that the folks getting this MCG test tomorrow will certainly experience. And then for those of you who want to take me up on my offer to allow you to be involved, to give us a call at 724-942-3002 to schedule a time slot on the 24th of the month, and we'll have time slots available all day. Here's the literature on MCG, the multifunctional cardiogram. This device, and I'm sort of reading here and paraphrasing when I have to, device provides a non-invasive and stress-free method to detect and diagnose myocardial ischemia with unprecedented accuracy in less than 15 minutes. That's quite a statement to make. Without invasiveness being employed, there is no catheterization, there is no fast CT, there is no MRA, there's no need for the sophisticated and very invasive forms of intervention. How does it work? Well, I've looked at this information. It seems like there's like 4 pieces of this puzzle. Number 1, MCG takes a series of 82-second electrical activity readings. So you're lying there, and you've got these little anklets on and wristbands on, and one lead over the chest, and it takes a series of 82-second electrical activity readings. Whereas a traditional EKG, what this is not, is designed to analyze the rhythm of the heart by taking a series of 3-second, 2-dimensional snapshots in the cardiac cycle. The MCG takes a systems analysis approach. That's a little confusing to me, by taking a continuous reading and looking at the differentials using a, whatever this is, Lagrange Euler multifunctional model. Boy, that's a mouthful. But here's the punchline, which by doing so accurately, and here's the punchline, accurately represents the blood flow and heart muscle interaction of a beating heart. This is done within that 7 minutes. Part number 2. After collecting that data, it's sent off via internet connection to New York, and there the systems analysis approach is used to break down the complex waveform into a multiple mathematical logarithmic, and I'm sure they got enough physicists on staff too, by converting the time domain MCG waveform into the frequency domain and applying 6 very sophisticated signal processing mathematical models. That's mumbo jumbo. Here is the key statement, and this point number 2. By doing so, this reveals characteristics that are not visible in the conventional EKG waveform these mathematical models produce, and here comes the punchline, 166 indices which tend to cluster based on the ischemic condition of that patient. There are 166 indices, data points, that this device can garnish within the 7 minutes that will equate to whatever the heart and blood vessel status that patient really does have. The third point to make is a correlative analysis has been compared with functional characteristics of these 166 indices with a large database. Get a load of this, folks. Your score is compared with 41,000, with a database of 41,000 patients. All 41,000 of them have had, number 1, have had a cardiac cath, and number 2, have also had the MCG. And so they're able to have a database knowing what these 166 data points are and how it then correlates with somebody who's had a cath. That's why this is the non-invasive, sophisticated wizard gizmo of our era, and I want you to be a part of it because it will be able to give you information on the ischemic condition of your heart. A correlative analysis to the third part then compares the functional characteristics based on that database as I mentioned. Here is a punchline. For detecting stenosis, remember, that's what you do a cardiac cath for. You can recall the cardiac catheterizations. When they're finally complete, the report goes something like this. Well, the LAD was 60% occluded. The left main was 20% occluded. The right coronary, and so you've heard this way of describing the results of a catheterization when they invasively put that catheter in the groin, thread it all the way up into the coronary vessels. That is some high-risk stuff. And we can get the same information by this non-invasive test. What a powerful tool this thing really can and will be. For detecting stenosis, the MCG has a remarkable sensitivity of greater than 91% and specificity of 85% when compared to angiography. That is an amazing statistic. So, ultimately a report gets generated. There are 3 things that the report, which by the way is available at the end of the day, when we submit this via internet to New York, 5 minutes later, because this is run through logarithmically, through the mathematical equations, who in the heck knows what they are? I just know they're out there, but it's done by a computer. 5 minutes later, the results are sent back to me, and we can have our discussion literally the next day, because we're going to send all this data in at the end of the day. So tomorrow, after these 24 patients are done, that's when we're going to send them into New York. We'll get back 5 minutes later the results. I'll be able to see these patients anytime afterwards to go over those results, and in so doing, they can find out what the status of their heart and blood vessels are without ever having any invasiveness done. And I should mention, and I know Jerry Singleton is going to be talking about, based on your score, objective score of between 0 and 20 will appear on the report. The people who have the score of 4 or higher are entitled to get this study 4 times a year and check their progress against what they are doing to try to correct the problem. That is an ideal thing for us who correct these problems, as opposed to my conventional colleagues who just slap another drug on. So I am very much interested in the ongoing analysis that can occur as much as 4 times a year. If you have a score of 2 or 3, you're allowed to have these twice a year. And if your score is a 0, meaning they can't find any evidence of any coronary artery occlusion at all, you're still allowed to repeat this study, and your insurances will pay for it at least once every year. And I think this is what the insurance industry is telling us. And I believe the insurance industry talked to me a number of years ago when we were doing ECP. We started to do ECP, still do it today. In the first year that I did ECP, the rules were that it was 35 treatments, no matter how sick or how healthy you were. And at the end of 35, that was it. You pulled it to an end. The patient, whatever benefit they got, they got. Whatever they didn't get, they didn't get. But that was the way the rules worked. And then the next year, I got a letter from Medicare. The letter almost knocked me off my chair because it said, and the letter's still in play now, hasn't changed, that as of that date, some 7 years ago, that from here on out, the doctor will be able to decide how many treatments. That told me that the insurance industry knows, and I believe what you're seeing in terms of coverage here and follow-ups is telling you that the insurance industry knows now that the better place to put their money is on something non-invasive like MCG and not cardiac catheterization. Anyway, get ready on Friday. I'll report back to you on how the dry run went. Until then, this is Dr. Dennis Courtney saying so long for AM Impact on Your Health.
AM Impact on Your Health is sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, MD, Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray, Pennsylvania. For more information or to make an appointment, call 724-942-3002. That's 724-942-3002 for Dennis J. Courtney, MD.